Hey everybody, welcome to the last video in our installation series on the Remnant Performance 3.8 Turbo Kit for the Hyundai Genesis Coupe. This video is called One Bag to Rule Them All. If you're not a Lord of the Rings fan, you might not get that reference. And first of all, how dare you? Second of all, how could you? But honestly, no, this video is to explain to you this big bag. This first part of the video, we're going to go over the other separate components that are in here. The second part of the video will go over just the fastening hardware piece. Okay, so let's go ahead and open up this bag. All right, first off, you got your zip ties. You have two different types of zip ties in here. You have your 11-inch ones or 12-inch, depending on what was available at the time. Then you have your 8-inch ones, right? So you're going to want to take advantage of those. Since they decided to come out with that, you're going to have 3 of these right here, which are your plastic scrapers. This is what you'll use to clean off your oil pan, right? That's all in this, again, this one bag. You'll also have the metal ties here. These are for your exhaust heat wrap. Next up, we have the Permatex. This is for when you are taking your oil pan off and you have cleaned it off using the scrapers. Then you go ahead and use the Permatex Ultra Gray to make a new gasket on top of your oil pan to seal it back to the block. Right here we have some blue thread locker Loctite. This you can use just a little bit, a dab on it, as you can see here on any of your bolts. You have a good amount here. We recommend obviously using them on, as we talked about in the other videos, using them on your self-tapping screws. Then you have also here some anti-seize. All right, so for you guys in the northern states, or anybody really in particular, you can use the anti-seize there on any of the bolts there to just make sure you don't have them seize up in the future. Also in the kit you get one of these, and that right there is for scraping off the block, getting the oil pan off of the block. It helps you just kind of, get it up, wedge it up in between, and as we said in the other video, you can kind of pry it back and forth to get it off. You also have your Teflon tape. This, as we talked about many times in the video, for wrapping various screws and nuts. Your roll of that is in this bag as well. Now, what else do we got in here? Oh, we've got electrical tape for all your electrical stuff. You have your AN4 male to AN4 female fitting. The oil feed line that you use there for connecting your turbo actually has a 1/8 NPT to an AN4 female, right? So the AN4 female goes on this end, then this right here will go down to your plate that is going to be adapting it to your actual turbo. Right here is a 1/8 NPT to 1/8 NPT female 90-degree fitting. You're going to have 2 of these, right? So that's also in the bag. 2 of those are in the bag. What else? Okay, here we go. This is your oil return line flange, right? It has the bolts that are necessary for hooking up, and also the flange, and also the gasket. So this is what you'll be using when you go to attach your oil return line to your turbo. What else? Oh, right here you have a 10mm to 12mm barb fitting. This is what you use for the little mini air filter that you are using there for connecting your PCV system on the driver's side valve cover to the little breather. This is what you use to adapt that, as we talked about in that video. That is in this bag. Well, let's see here. We already talked about the NPT fittings. Okay, you've got 2 bags of these self-tapping screws, right? One set here is for connecting your, one set is for connecting your intercooler to your crash bar. The other set is for connecting your oil cooler's mounting brackets, right? Oil cooler mounting brackets for one, and your intercooler bracket for the other. All right. Other than that, I think that is everything. The next step, we'll be talking about all the fastening bolts that come in this bag and also in the other boxes that are associated with the kit. So we'll be right back. This one is going to be going over how you guys understand everything that comes in your kit when it comes to the bolts, the screws, and the nuts, right? All the fastening hardware here. So obviously we're going to skip the T-bolts and V-band clamps. Those are pretty self-explanatory, and we've already gone over them in some of our videos. But this one I want to explain what you get. So you're going to get a big bag here, a Ziploc bag kind of thing like this. It's going to be sealed. Let me go through everything that comes in it, right? It's going to be multiple separately sealed packages. You get one package here of 4 bolts and nuts here. These ones, they're not locking, so these immediately these are the ones that are for your T4 turbo manifold mount. It's going to mount your turbo to the T4 mount. All right, so that's what this is what you're going to be looking for when you're getting ready to assemble your turbo to that mount piece, right? So this is what you want. Next up, you have these 4 bolts. These 4 bolts here are the bolts that will actually attach your your oil filter housing to your block, right? These are the new bolts that will use that. You don't want to use your old ones because the new oil filter housing is not as deep as your old one. Next up, we got the big kahuna. This right here is the biggest bolts that you have in the kit. These are M12s. And they also, you can see they're flanged, so you don't need any additional washers, so everything you need is here. So we'll attach you have extra bolts here for attaching your actual regular exhaust manifolds to your new piping, and they also have these 4 bolts and nuts here for attaching your downpipe number 2 to your catback exhaust. So everything you need is in this package. Next up, you have 3 bolts here. This is for attaching the front center intercooler pipe that actually connects to your throttle body. It's attaching those to the block, right? So you have one of them has the nut already on it. That's the one that's going to go up under the bottom and hook up to your the front sensor there that we need to attach to the pipe. And then the other 2 right here are the ones that just go directly into the block. Next up, you have here 2 self-trapping screws. These ones are used for hooking your intercooler up to your front crash bar. Okay, there's another set like this, exactly like this, that comes in this package right here, but we'll go over that in a second. And then you have your last 2 nuts here. On the BK2s, there is on your intake manifold on the back there for holding that new bracket that allows you to do the power steering reservoir relocate and the fuse box relocate. These are the ones that fasten that bracket to your intake manifold. All right, next up, you've got here, this is the box for your vacuum block. In the vacuum block, there is a package here, 2 self-tapping screws. This is how you attach it to your car. This right here is the power steering reservoir relocate bracket that you get here. It already has a screw that you need in it. This will attach this power steering reservoir to the new bracket that we just talked about on the intake manifold. This is very simple. You go right up, and then the actual washer itself is on the top. All right, now let's look at these 2 things. Now we look at this first one here. This is your windshield washer reservoir, the new one. Inside, there's a package here with the 2 self-tapping screws. So it's already set up there for you, so you don't lose it. Last but not least, you got this right here. This is your new oil catch can. You got the bracket with the bolt that's needed there for attaching it to your car, and you've got all the fittings that you need already inside this package. So everything's there. That concludes us going over all the bolts and fasteners in this kit. Like I said, everything will be in that first bag that comes, and it will be sealed up for you to make sure that nothing gets out. All right, thanks for watching, and as always, happy boosting.